Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name's Zoe. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I really do hope that you decide to subscribe and also turn on that bell so you're notified every single time that I post. And if you're a current subscriber, please make sure that your bell is on, as YouTube doesn't like suggesting true crime content. So today's video is episode 4 of my Crimemas week. I am literally so excited. This week is going so fast. Soon it'll be Christmas Eve, it'll all be over and we'll all be celebrating Christmas. So, yesterday's video I was really poorly. You could tell that. That was filmed probably a week ago now. I am pushing my luck with filming these videos because I got ill. I thought beforehand I would have time, but then I got ill and I don't have time now. We are already on day number 2 when I am filming this. I've got day number 3 already up, which is a video that you see yesterday. So I'm literally filming the last 2 videos with 1 day to go, and that means I've got to film them both, edit them both within that 1 day. So it is currently 12 AM. I am probably still going to be up at 6 AM. That won't even be this video out of the way, but it is so worth doing it because I love doing these true crime weeks. I hate when I tell you I'm going to do something and then I don't, so that's why I'm really trying hard to stick to the schedule and get these videos out for you, because you really deserve these videos. You guys support me every single day, every time I upload, and you support me on my social media. You're interested in my life, you put a lot of time in to my channel, so it's only fair that I do that back. And that's why I enjoy doing these true crime weeks. In today's video we are talking about a Christmas rampage. Ronald Simmons was born on the 15th of July 1940 in Chicago, USA, to his parents Loretta and William Simmons. When Ronald was 3 years old, unfortunately his father William passed away due to having a stroke. It was a really tough time for the family, but despite all this, his mother did remarry a year later. She married William Griffin, a civil engineer for the US Army. Due to his job, the family never really stayed put. They were moving around from place to place, and he was placed on many transfers. And the family spent a lot of their time travelling across Arkansas. In 1957, 17-year-old Ronald decided to drop out of school and join the US Navy. He was stationed in Naval Station Breathitt, Washington. It was here that he met Marieroseee Ubrari. Now she was known as Becky to most people around her, so that is what I will refer to her as throughout this video. The couple got married in 1960, and over the next 18 years the family grew and they had 7 children together. In 1963 Ronald decided to leave the US Navy and join the Royal Air Force. In total, when he retired, he had spent over 20 years in the military. In the 20 years, he was given many awards and medals, such as the Bronze Star Medal, the Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross, and the Air Force Ribbon for Excellent Marksmanship. To outsiders, Ronald was a perfect military father, and this was a perfect family. But not everything was as it seems, and cracks did start to show. In April of 1981, the Department of Human Services in Mexico started an investigation against Ronald after some accusations were made against him. Apparently, Ronald had been sexually abusing his 17-year-old daughter Sheila, and she apparently burned his child. Ronald was frightened that he was going to be arrested, so he packed up his whole family, packed up all his stuff and fled the country. The family bounced from place to place until they eventually settled in Dover, Arkansas in 1983. They ended up on a patch of land known as Mockingbird Hill. The property didn't have any up-to-date plumbing or electrics. There was a big fence around the whole property and it was very much off the grid. Ronald was in and out of work and the jobs were very much low paying and low skilled. He even had to leave one of his jobs because he was being accused of making sexual advances to one of his colleagues. he ended up settling in at a local mini-mart, and he had his job here for around 2 years. Then out of nowhere, in December 1987, he decided to quit his job, and nobody knew why. But the reason why he quit his job would soon become clear to everybody around him. On the 28th of December 1987, Ronald jumped into his car and drove to a nearby law firm in Russellville. He walked in and shot the unexpected receptionist. Her name was Kathy Kendrick, and unfortunately she died from the injuries she sustained. Ronald then drove to an oil company office where he shot and killed a man called J.D. Chuffin. The owner of this company was also injured. But Ronald's killing spree was not over. He then drove to a convenience store where he shot and injured 2 more people. Ronald's last stop was a Woodland Freight company, and he walked in and shot and injured another woman. Now that the killing was over, Ronald was surprisingly calm. He just sat down and started to chat to the other employees in the building, and he was fully aware that police were on their way to come and arrest him. He did not once try to get away, and once police arrived, he openly gave himself up. He just handed over the gun and let police handcuff him. Police were just getting to grips with the trail of destruction that Ronald had left behind. But little did they know that it was about to get a whole lot worse. Police had been trying to contact Ronald's wife Becky just to let her know the situation, the fact that Ronald was arrested and what was going on, but they struggled to get a hold of her. Like I said earlier, the place that they lived was quite isolated. They didn't have up-to-date phone lines, they couldn't accept calls, so police decided to send 2 officers up to the home. When they arrived, there was no answer at the door, but the door was unlocked, so they let themselves in. Nothing prepared the police officers for what they would find. In the living room, next to the Christmas tree and wrapped presents, there was 12 bodies. These were the bodies of Ronald's family, and there was only one suspect in this mass killing: Ronald Simmons. Once police started to investigate this case, it soon became very clear what had actually happened. On the 22nd of December 1987, Ronald had shot and killed his wife Becky and eldest son Gabe. He then killed his 3-year-old granddaughter by strangulation. Ronald then put the 3 bodies in a homemade grave in his back garden, and he actually made his own children dig this grave. He then waited for his other children to get home, and he told all his children, "I have a present for you." He wanted to take the children one by one to show them their presents. He first took his eldest daughter. He strangled her to death and held her under a rain barrel. He then took the other 3 of his children, all one by one, and killing them in the same way as their older sister. Ronald then sat and waited for his other family members to arrive 4 days later on the 26th of December. First to arrive was his son Billy and his wife. Ronald shot the couple dead as soon as they arrived. He then took their 20-month-old son and strangled him to death. Sheila, Ronald's daughter, was next to arrive with her husband and their children. Ronald shot Sheila and her husband to death and strangled the children. Ronald then lined all his family members up in neat rows beside the Christmas tree. He covered all the bodies with coats, except for Sheila. He decided to use Becky's best tablecloth to cover her body. He wrapped the bodies of his grandsons in plastic wrapping and hid them in the cars at the end of the driveway. Over the next 2 days, Ronald sat with the bodies. He didn't leave the bodies. He only left to go to a local bar and go drinking, and then he would come home again and sit in the same room as the bodies. When he was out and about going to the bar, nobody had a clue what he had done. Nobody knew what happened that day, and nobody suspected a thing. Ronald was arrested and charged with 16 counts of murder, and he was sentenced to death. Ronald decided not to appeal the sentencing, as he believed he deserved the worst punishment possible. Whilst on death row, Ronald had to be constantly kept away from other inmates, as it was thought that his life was in danger. Other inmates believed that their own appeals would be jeopardised because Ronald wouldn't appeal his. On the 25th of June 1990, Ronald Simmons was killed by lethal injection, and after his death none of his relatives would come to claim his body. There has never been an explanation or a reason as to why Ronald did what he did. Nobody knows to this day, and Ronald has never said why. There has been many conspiracy theories, such as Becky wanting to get a divorce. Apparently she told her son that she could not live with Ronald anymore. Maybe the thought of a divorce could have sparked off his rage. It is also thought that the receptionist who was killed, called Kathy, had once rejected Ronald, and that's why she might be connected to this, but we'll just never know. We just won't know the reason why, and it's so sad to think that someone would do this to the whole family, especially at Christmas. So that is all for today's video. I don't need to apologise for anything in this video, which is the first, because I'm normally apologising for something, because I feel like when you're on the internet you've got to justify everything you do, you've got to apologise everything that you do, but hey ho. So that is episode 4 of Crimemas all done. Tomorrow at 6 PM is the last episode. I am gutted it's the last episode because that's just come around so quickly. I really do hope that you've enjoyed this week. If you check out the playlist down below, you can watch all the videos in this True Crime week. I really do hope you've enjoyed it, and I would love to hear your feedback. If you want any True Crime weeks in the future and you want them to be around a certain topic, let me know in the comments below. That is all for today's video. Thank you for watching and supporting me, and I shall see you in my next True Crime video. Bye.